Hello everyone, welcome to Kickstart Privacy, Ashik this side. In this video, we will deep dive into what DTIA is, why it is essential, and the steps involved. Whether you are a business owner, a tech enthusiast, or just someone curious about how your data is handled, this topic offers insights that can benefit everyone. And this DTIA is a risk assessment used for the purposes of transferring personal data from the EU, European Union, to certain non-European Union countries. Okay, and these are the topics covered. Let's understand each topics covered today in this video. Introduction and purpose of DTIA. When is DTIA needed? A small one case study, steps involved in DTIA, and finally the key takeaways and the conclusion. Next, introduction. In our interconnected world, data is constantly on the move, right? Whether you are signing up for a new app or making online purchases or interacting on social media, your personal information often travels across countries and continents. But how do we ensure that this data remains safe during its journey? Enter the Data Transfer Impact Assessment, commonly known as DTIA. It is a crucial process that businesses use to make sure your personal information is protected, especially when transferred to other countries. Just like a careful traveler checks their route and packs appropriately for a trip, businesses use a DTIA as a guide to ensure data reaches its destination safely. Next, the purpose. The purpose of the DTIA is to assess whether the transfer of personal data to a third country or international organization may result in a high risk to the individual's rights and freedoms. It helps organizations identify and implement appropriate safeguards to protect the transferred data and ensure compliance with GDPR requirements. Next, a DTIA should be conducted in the following situation, right? There are a couple of situations where we can conduct this DTIA. What are the two conditions or situations? The first one is transfer to a third country without an adequate decision. For example, if an organization intends to transfer personal data to a country outside the European Economic Area that does not have an adequacy decision from the European Commission, that is a determination that the country provides an adequate level of data protection. In that case, a DTIA is required, right? What is the next condition? Transfers requiring appropriate safeguards. Even if the destination country has an adequacy decision, certain transfers may still require a DTIA if the organization plans to rely on specific safeguards such as SCCs or BCRs for the data transfer. You know, that means transfers requires appropriate safeguards, right? Even when a country is deemed safe for a data transfer, uh, what is called having an adequacy decision, there can be a situation where extra care is needed, right? Think of it like this. Even if you are traveling to a place known for its safety, you would still need to lock up your valuables, right? In the world of data transfer, these locks can be specific safety measures like standard contractual clauses or the binding corporate rules. So even if the data is going to a safe country, businesses might still use these additional measures or protections. And when they do, they need to perform a DTIA to ensure everything is indeed secure, right? Here I have tried to use the analogy of locking up valuables. Even when you are in a safe place, to simplify the concept. Next, a case study. XYZ corporation, based in Germany, wants to transfer personal data of its customers to a cloud service provider, let's say located in India. Since the India does not have an adequacy decision from the European Commission, it must perform a DTIA to assess the potential risks associated with this transfer. Right. Next, let's understand the steps involved in DTIA. From this case study. The first thing you have to do is to identify and document the data transfer. So that means document the details of the data transfer, including the types of personal data being transferred, the purpose of the transfer, the countries involved, and the recipients of the data. This is going to be the first thing you have to do. The second thing is to assess the legal and regulatory landscape. So in this case, you need to examine the data protection laws and regulations in the destination country. In this case, the India, right? To understand how personal data will be protected and whether there are any potential conflicts or risks to individuals' rights and freedoms, right? The next thing is to evaluate the risks and safeguards. So in this time, you need to assess the potential risks associated with the data transfer, such as the risk of unauthorized access, data breaches, or government surveillance. So they also need to evaluate the safeguards available to mitigate these risks, such as SCCs, encryption, or additional contractual measures. Okay. Next thing is to implement appropriate safeguards. So based on the DTIA findings, we need to determine the appropriate safeguards to ensure an adequate level of protection for the transferred data, right? For example, they may decide to include specific clauses in the SCCs or in the contract with the cloud service provider to govern the data transfer. And finally, you need to document the assessment. So document the DTIA process, including the assessment findings, the identified risks, and the safeguards implemented. This documentation demonstrates compliance with GDPR requirements and serves as a evidence of due diligence. All right. So in summary, by performing a DTIA, the XYZ corporation can identify and address any potential risk associated with the transfer of personal data to a third country. This allows them to implement appropriate safeguards to protect individuals' rights and ensure compliance with GDPR obligations. So, the key takeaways are data is constantly on the move, right? In our digital age, Personal data often travels across borders, making its protection crucial. The second thing is understanding DTIA. The DTIA is like a protective measure ensuring that data transfers are safe and secure, much like making sure a package reaches its destination, without damage. Third point is not all countries are equal. Some countries have an adequacy decision, which means they are recognized as having strong data protection. But even then, extra precautions might be needed. Right. The last bullet point is safety first with safeguards. Measures like SCCs and BCRs are extra layers of protection, ensuring data remains safe even when transferred to recognized safe countries. So the conclusion here is in today's digital world, the exchange of data is a fundamental part of the internet, right? Making sure that data travels safely, especially across borders, is essential. The data transfer impact assessment, or DTIA, is a tool that helps ensure this safety. Just as we pack carefully for a trip, businesses use DTIA to ensure our data journey is secure. By understanding and valuing this process, we take a step towards a safer online experience for everyone. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more interesting topics in data privacy and protection. Bye bye.